Saw for Tribe and the Churnwalker for TSM are the two distinguished hero picks that I could see coming up.
Yeah, and that's going to change up the shape of the draft as well, especially that Churnwalker. We've seen that be kind of first or second banned going against TSM from other teams like Cloud9, for example, in their series, just didn't allow that Churnwalker through. So that kind of affects how you have to treat the entire draft as well.
Yeah, exactly, because if you're banning away the Churnwalker, all of a sudden it's leaving open other power picks that teams are eager to get their hands on. But this time around, no Churnwalker ban, but it is Blackfeather that gets first pick. There's the Saw that we were just talking about for Tribe. And now the Churnwalker gets taken off the board.
And there is a reason why people have been banning the Saw after they pick up the Blackfeather. It works so well in the early game. Blackfeather lane is one of the weakest early game laners, and Saw capitalizes on that so well because he will just push those turrets.
I'm very surprised actually that Tribe banned the Churnwalker there because it shows that they don't want it. They don't feel comfortable with the Churnwalker because Churnwalker Saw is a combo we have seen work incredibly well. But the fact that they are not willing to leave that open, it says to me that they don't play it.
Absolutely right. I mean, we saw Rogue perform with that composition specifically, but it does say that they don't play it. Alpha, however, is something they play, and T-Tigers does incredibly well on it. TSM is forced, or was forced, to switch the Blackfeather into the jungle so that they don't have the lane matchup and in that carry role with the losing matchup. Kestrel and Lyra does come out as well.
Yeah, I think someone told them we were at risk of... I think someone told them we were at risk of falling behind schedule because they have just blown through this draft. Only 2 seconds of bonus time used between the two of them. That it is a very strong composition on both sides of the fold.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. When you look at these picks, Saw is the only one that would maybe be considered off meta, but in recent history, I'd say Saw has definitely become a meta pick. So when you look at these two compositions, just power picks across the board.
Yeah, no, power picks across the board, especially when you're talking about Tribe. Saw is definitely meta for them. Blackfeather in the jungle can be abused. We talked about the matchup between these two junglers. Alpha technically has a stronger early game, but he does have Lyra on his side, and I expect TSM to play around Von C very well to try and help him survive throughout the early game. Going to be a very interesting one to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We know how aggressive Von C likes to play, and we know that when Flash X is on that Lyra, he likes to be aggressive too.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are very aggressive squads, just in terms of their, regardless of who they're playing, and just the way that they play the game is very aggressive more often than not. So I expect the jungle to be heavily contested in this game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who's going to be able to focus on these Elder Treants towards the start of the game, because both Alpha and Blackfeather pretty good at stealing those camps away as well.
Alpha and Blackfeather both can last hit it very well. It's going to be about the players and how they use their abilities, because On Point does a lot of damage when you're CP. Blackfeather, at the same time, Prime Directive is another last hitting ability on the side of Alpha. For me, also, another thing that's very interesting is the Kestrel versus the Saw matchup, because Kestrel can actually hold off against the Saw, especially if she lands Glimmer shots. So Saw needs to always remain behind his minions so that he has the protection with the body blocking. Very interesting, can go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the later stages of this game as well. If neither team really pushes too significant of an advantage in the early game, do we feel like either composition has a significant advantage when we get to 20+ minutes?
It's not so much a significant advantage, but the game is definitely going to change, because now all of a sudden you have to worry about getting the Saw onto a target, onto the Kestrel. You have to worry about the Blackfeather diving onto the Saw heavily. So, and the way that the teams play is definitely going to change once we get a little bit later into the game, but I don't necessarily think it's going to give a heavy advantage.
Going into the late game, the Blackfeather and Kestrel will have the rage advantage, so Saw needs to take down turrets so that they're able to just snowball the game.
All right, we'll see if they can take those turrets down. Saw push turret. It's always the way it seems to go. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know whether you're supporting Tribe or if you want TSM to take this one. It's time to pass it over to our casters and get into game 1 of our first semi-final.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Team Solomid versus Tribe. This is going to be a tasty little treat. I'm Humanist here with Dowsey, and we're ready to go. Dowsey, what do you think about these drafts right off the bat?
It's pretty interesting stuff going on. Dienzio has got himself a Saw. So, I mean, Tribe have been basically had a priority ban against them for the last couple of weeks here. I remember Zelsia yesterday complaining that, Rogue didn't get any Saw bans against them in the 3 matches they played Saw every time and picked it first time every time. But Tribe have it banned against them. So they're going to be pretty happy that they've got this Saw here. They believe in this composition. With an Alpha and an Arden, they're going to have a lot of protection and frontline threat. You have that Kestrel, which is going to be a little bit threatened by the Alpha Arden combination. We'll have to see if this Crystal Power Black Feather, though, can provide enough poke with Kestrel to take down Dienzio.
Yeah, they're going to have to burst Dienzio down, and you imagine they can do it. There's a lot of damage output potential, but if anybody's absorbing some of those Glimmer shots, it can work out really well for Tribe. A bit of pressure being applied up in the lane as you expect. A nice little suppressing fire from range from Dienzio, applying Harass, also making sure that he's spun up continuously. And they're just shoving the lane right now. Black Feather rotating down into the jungle where you see T-Tiger has kind of set up a scout trap down there.
Oh dear.
Gonna be popped off. That's not the best efficiency out of that. Now, T-Tigers, they're on to Von C with the Vanguard. This should be Von C going down right off the bat. He gets the on point, just bites him a half second. First blood comes through for Tribe.
That was really clever by T-Tigers, just sitting on top of the scout trap, meaning that Von C did face check the bush. Then not only was he going to get a bit of extra damage from the scout trap, then he was going to be ready for the fight. This is a very hard early game for TSM to weather. The Alpha has so much base damage against the Crystal Power Black PVC Von C trying to stop T-Tigers.
Let's see how's it going to play out here. This is a very aggressive T-Tigers against Von C. Von C already used that healing flask in the prior engagement. And he's going to go down one more attack. Oh, Sigil gives him a little movement speed in the heal, Dowsey, but Prime Directive connects. 267 damage on that one, and 2 kills coming through.
I mean, I was just saying it. Alpha's base damage makes the matchup super difficult for Black Feather. Von C, no fear, just fight. The motto so true as it rings in our ears, and unfortunately that means T-Tigers with a very huge gold lead over his jungle counterpart, and only that, a CS lead as well. T-Tigers just going to be living at the front and the back of Von C's jungle, trying to steal as much away in the next minute before the Crystal Sentry spawns. Not only is TSM losing on the jungle front early, the lane matchup is actually fairly difficult for the Kestrel as well. In the early stages of the game, before those Glimmer shots become super obnoxious, the Sorrow Blade is kind of where I say that's level 1 of the obnoxious level. Level 2 actually. Level 2 Glimmer Shot is level 1 of the obnoxious level, and then Sorrow Blade's level 2. And that's when Dienzio is going to really struggle to hold his ground. The Lyra should be able to heal. Best Chuck NA and the Glimmer Shot should be able to dissuade Dienzio from auto-attacking, but look at the damage to the turret.
Zio, he's just locked onto that turret. The Vanguard, he calculates the timing on that, and because Best Chuck didn't have the Glimmer Shots ready to go, he just stands his ground. Really impressive stuff. Max Green getting lit up a little bit there. He'll be okay as he dips behind those lane minions. You can tell that Zio wants to port out right now, but he's okay, I think, with that healing flask, right, Douse?
You'd think that the healing flask can provide enough for them to stick around, but remember there's a super amount of range that comes out of Kestrel's Glimmer Shots and even Lyra's base attacks.
Is Swansea gonna die again? Oh, no! They turned it around! TSM actually rotating this time as T-Tigers into the Infinite Reboot, and that'll be TSM getting on the board.
That's nice stuff from TSM. Good rotation to keep Von C in this game. They can't allow this Crystal Power Black Feather to fall behind. He's a key part of their composition. You know, we seen a lot of Saw yesterday, but I guess I can recap in case anyone missed it. Saw struggles against compositions that can either burst him down via kite, or you know, burst him down via dive. And the composition we saw successful yesterday, as it looks like Tribe's just going to get a free turret, was the kiting composition that Hammers pulled out. It was a Celeste and an Arden to allow the Celeste to kite. Now, It's a little bit different here from TSM. They've got major poke here, and I don't think they're going to be looking to heavily kite the Saw, but you know, they can do so with the Lyra. The idea is that once this Crystal Power Black Feather hits a power point of level 8, the on point gets extended range, they can just burst down Dienzio with 2 of their abilities.
Woo! T-Tigers jumps in, it's Von C right back the other way. A nice bright bulwark down there by Flash, kind of preemptively predicting that Prime Directive was going to come out. Now boots forward by T-Tigers, trying to get onto Best Chuck. He applies the damage, Prime Directive, just off the mark. You can tell that was very close to landing. These guys are just about to pop Best Chuck if they can actually get on top here. But Tribe march forward as a unit, just kind of lumbering down this lane very slowly as we see. It's just saw push turret, saw push lane.
Not only that, look at what's in T-Tiger's inventory. It's a Aftershock completed, huge power spike for the Alpha, and T-Tigers has himself a Crystal Power Infusion ready to go. So Tribe are desperately looking to try and make a play around this power spike of the Alpha. They haven't really had the opportunity to do so yet, but Team Tigers may just find himself marching back to lane after he finishes these backs. What they have to be careful about is the fact that TSM, with this Kestrel now with a Sora Blade in inventory, actually have a lot of anti-push ability. The wave clear on the Kestrel's Glimmer Shots allow for them to push Dienzio back and actually poke from range as well. So T Tigers and Max Green basically going to have to find an engage soon, and Max Green's about halfway to his gauntlet, and that's going to be a pretty key point for Tribe to be able to engage onto this fairly kite-ish composition from TSM.
Ooh, Tiggs missing the prime directive there. Zio, he's gonna get spin up, and they start up the gold miner here. Tribe starting a potential engagement. We're gonna see TSM moving forward. Oh, nice prime directive onto Flash, but Flash has the healing. He's gonna be okay. That was a self-fountain use, of which maybe we could talk about the fountain in a little bit, Dowsey. He doesn't always go for this item. Now, prime directive in, the Vanguard onto Tiggs. He's on the best Chuck. The Kestrel dropping low. Zio is on the gold miner. That's Kestrel down, and Tribe also going to be getting an immense gold payout, 347 gold each. A big win for Tribe there.
Yeah, no, like we mentioned, that Tribe needed to find engages, and so if they can't force an engage onto TSM, then they can kind of do the opposite and force TSM to engage onto them, and that's how the gold miner baited TSM into the fight. Like you mentioned, there is the fountain for Flash X. He sometimes goes Crucible, but another team fight here, Humanist.
Gauntlet down. Nice bright bulwark again from Flash. You can see now turret starting to do damage. Max Green dropping low. And this is Dienzio just locked onto the turret down in the jungle. Von C, he's on Tiggs, but Tiggs is right back in the lane. He's just right back and forth. He can't keep track of this Alpha. That termination protocol means he stays in place there, rebooting currently. Zio taking a lot of damage, gets the Vanguard, but look at the damage coming out of this Kestrel. Best shot. Takes Zio down. Now Tiggs, low, does not have the ultimate available. He's going to try and juke and dive out of here, but he will go down. We're 3-3, about 8 minutes into this one.
That front treant had just spawned. T Tigers just wasn't sure if it was worth his while using the Prime Directive as an attempted escape and hesitated. If he had gone for it, then there was the potential, but we won't necessarily know for sure. Like you mentioned, the fountain here, we'll talk about it because I think it's fairly important because on 2.9, Flash X has kind of set a precedent, a meta shift that Lyra's build Crucible first item. He's not even gone Crucible second item against the lockdown of a gauntlet here. It's the Atlas prioritized against Dienzio's Saw here, and the fountain super important against the Saw as well. Fonzie finds Dienzio.
Von C found Dienzio, but now Max Green and Zio ready to trade. This is a lot of burst damage starting to come out of Von C at this point. You know, he started slow, but starting to turn things up here as we get past the early portion of this game. Flash is down here with Von C. One shot will come out, not quite connecting as Max Green moving up towards the lane with Tiggs. You can tell Tribe pretty much setting the pace of this game.
Yeah, they are, and Best Chuck's been caught out by a Alpha. Good usage of the active camera gets him to safety inside TSM's safe hands now. It's a Dragon's Eye for Von C, looking to try and stack up on this this CP Blackfeather. It means that he has to be in auto attack range if he wants to maintain his stacks. The on point cooldown is about 3 seconds, and when you have a Dragon's Eye, you need to maintain yourself in combat. And if you drop out of combat for 2.5 seconds, you drop your stacks rapidly. So it's going to have to be up close and personal. Another gold mine started.
Prime Directive in before the Borg. This time, Tiggs getting lit up, but Zio's taking down Best Chuck. Tiggs is going to reboot here, and they'll be on the chase. Tribe looking for Flash, but Von C still capable of doing a lot of damage. Zio, he's on the gold miner. Von C, Rose offensive over top of Max Green. How's this going to play out? Suppressing fire comes down. Von C trading with the on point, keeping himself alive. I'm very surprised that Von C is still here. Prime Directive in. Actually, should I have been surprised that Von C? No fear, just fight. Humanist, you're so stupid. Von C chases forward. He's going to be getting Max Green just a matter of time here. Max, little Ella giggles with the self Vanguard, buying some time, but 5-4 as TSM find a couple kills.
Yeah, like we talked about, Humanist, if Von C wants to make this Dragon's Eye work, he has to stay in melee range and not drop stacks. So every time it looked like Von C was about to drop stacks, he went back in, and to your surprise, to maybe everyone's surprise that he was so confident to stay in that fight, he was able to build up those stacks, get a lot of damage. Oh my god, Dienzio!
Hello! Zio just destroyed Best Chuck. Now looking for Flash X booty. He's on the chase. Oh, but this is the on point. Von C with a faint heart onto Zio. But this is the Prime Directive. Hello! You cannot take down my teammate Saw. My name is T-Tigers.
This is why Saw is banned against Tribe every draft here, Humanist, because Dienzio is a god on it, and he's shown that he is a threat every game. A second turret going to go over to Tribe here. They are winning this macro game so easily. You know, the desk already touched upon this, Humanist, but let's just reiterate it. This is such an important matchup for TSM at the moment because of the fact that they are sitting 1 point behind Rogue, and Rogue are going up against the bottom-seeded North American Vainglory8 team. Tribe, a very tough opponent, but if TSM want to go to Worlds, then they have to overcome them, and then they have to overcome potentially Rogue in the finals as well.
What a road. What a road on the way to that world spot. And it's incredible to have this competition right now in the North American Vainglory scene. It looks like we're going to have a little more action right now. Dowsey down in the Tribe rush. This is TSM aggressing onto Tribe. Dienzio spun up. He's moving forward with the Vanguard. He's onto Vonsi. Vonsi just gets deleted. Look at Zio. Stutter stepping all over TSM. Active Camo buying a little bit of time. Best Chuck stepping back. Zio's like, you got this, team. I'm on the Gold Miner. Tig's locked on, and he'll find a double kill coming through. That'll put Tribe up 8-5 about 12 minutes into this one. They're going to get the Gold Miner as well. Wow.
This is crazy. Tribe have just taken over the pacing of this game, and it's going to be another objective going their way as the Crystal Sentry will lose its life here. 12 minutes into this game, Dienzio has prioritized crit. We talked about Serpent's Mask versus crit builds here on a Saw. I'm a huge advocate of the crit build on Saw because of the amount of damage you can quickly do. Once you've spun up, you just dish it out. It's insane. Another thing to talk about is the fact that Max Green has just picked up an Echo on this Arden. He's going to have double gauntlets going down, and there's only one reflex block on the Halcyon Fold for TSM, and that's in S-Chuck's hands. Of course, you have Rose Offensive. Vonsi can be using that to escape CC. FlashX has a Dragonheart in his inventory, but it's just been converted into a Wartread, so he's going to have to use his portals, essentially, to get Best Chuck in A out if the reflex block can't position him correctly enough. TSM may be in a bit of trouble in these next coming teamfights.
All right, Bulwark's on cooldown. I was wondering about how Flash was intending to use that Atlas Pulse if he was going to be aggressive with the Arcane Passages to get onto Saw, but it's kind of awkward. This is the sigil down, TSM chasing forward. Tig's dropping low. He's into Infinite Reboot. Didn't even use the Termination Protocol here. Interesting decision. Tiggs jumps back in. Zio spun up. Gauntlets down. How's this going to play out? Flash with the Arcane Passage. Best Chuck is a stand his ground, but he goes down to Zio. Zio's able to take one. Alpha takes the second. Flash X, he'll be chased down with that Prime Directive. I don't think he gets out of it here. He's got a lot of mobility once he boosts himself with that sigil, but this is an alpha we're talking about. That's the ace for Tribe in a beautiful fight.
Yeah, really nice stuff from Tribe. It was almost just a bait. T-Tigers going down into his reboot, and TSM felt a little bit confident that they could take down the Alpha before the team fight began. It's a nice win condition for them. If they can remove T-Tigers from the fight immediately, then getting onto Dienzio becomes a lot easier. However, Tribe just immediately dived on in there to make sure that this Alpha wasn't in trouble, and the great gauntlet setup from Max Green. Vonsi wants to fight.
Vonsi wants to fight. He's found a fight here. You can see Zio once again going for that gold miner, but he switches over to Vonsi. Now Zio spun up, moving forward. Best Chuck wants to find the damage, but he can't really trade with Zio when Zio's spun up, and you can see him right there. And you see it. Look at the crit coming through. 565 damage. Dowsey, I see why you like the crit build on this Saw. Everybody take note. Flash, Arcane Passage over the wall. He should get himself out of here. Uh-oh. They're like, oh, well, you know, we can take this Arcane Passage too. A little Vanguard over the wall from Max Green onto Zio. Zio spun up, looking to find a target. Von C's just playing games here with the on point from max range over the wall. Pretty good damage. Jumps in with the Faint of Heart. How is this going to play out? Another on point. Von C, Rose Offensive. You made a mistake there. Von C pays for it. Goes down. Zio mostly spun up. Fully spun up at this point. Crystal Sentry. It's just getting delivered right to their waiting mouths. Tribe moving forward. 15 minutes in. Look like they can maybe close this one out here. T-Tigers. He's on to the Vein Crystal turret. This is Dienzio getting lit. Nice glimmer shot. Zio dropping so incredibly low. Probably below 50 health there. Best Chuck, one attack. Can he get it? No. In fact, T-Tigers is locked on. That's pressing fire. Zone him out. Best Chuck stepping back. Active camo, allowing him to be elusive through that fight there. Very close to finding a kill. One shot will come out. It's not going to be really finding anything. And I think Tribe able to get out of this one. Was Von C's catching someone with an on point here? No.
This is very difficult for TSM. they're not being able to set up the team fights the way they need to. TSM want to kind of have a bit of a slow start to the team fights, and Tribe want to go fast and furious, and so far it's been working out for them. They need to either blow up Dienzio or T-Tigers. Either one works for them. Both are playing very, very well. T-Tigers very tanky with his build, almost has finished his second tier 3 defense item, and Dienzio's positioning has made him such a hard target to focus on. Let's not forget Max Green has been the protector of all protectors. TSM, they want to start a fight around this Kraken.
Now Zio spun up, Prime Directive in here. Gauntlet down, will stun up Flash. Flash taking big damage. He'll be able to reposition and get himself out of there. Got a nice stun from Best Chuck. Second Gauntlet going to come out. T-Tigers on to Best Chuck. This is Zio trying to find the damage on Vonsi, but Vonsi is very elusive. He's out of here. T-Tigers will miss the Prime Directive. Continues to chase. Nice rotation around from Best Chuck to find a kill, but Zio, he is doing mad damage, finds one himself, and T-Tigers will chase down Vonsi. You have to imagine he's going to be able to take him out. There you go. Didn't even need the Termination Protocol, but a nice play anyway. An ace coming through for Tribe.
Yeah, and what's this? Dienzio says, let's just finish. I'm Saw. Saw push turret. T-Tigers thinks he's a jungler, so he's going to take the objectives. This would have been a finish if they both went. It's only going to be one crystal turret going over to Tribe here. They will get the Kraken for themselves, you would think. There is a potential still opportunity. The one shot from Best Chuck, if timed correctly, blind, might be able to find the steal. It would be pretty impressive
Go
stuff.
Chuck! Pretty good timing.
Pretty good timing, a little bit late. But that last team fight so split out, and T-Tigers landed a blind Prime Protocol, Termination Prime Directive, there we go, words are hard.
We got it.
Over the wall onto an invisible Kestrel, which caught Best Chuck out and just split the entirety of TSM up. I thought that the split of TSM might have been enough to be able to find the kill onto Saw, but unfortunately Vonsi just couldn't do it. And as soon as Dienzio got in range of that Kestrel, it was all over. Here we go.
Nice Prime Directive then. Vanguard down onto T-Tigers. He'll go ahead and back himself up, waiting for Zio to get in range here to start dishing out some damage. Meanwhile, TSM chunking away through the Kraken. Kraken starting to get taken down here. Zio getting lit up. A couple glimmer shots coming through. He's threatened. His life is in danger, but Best Chuck is as well. Best Chuck repositions back. The Gauntlet down. Prime Directive onto Best Chuck. Second Gauntlet locks all of TSM in place. Max Green playing pretty much out of his mind, just allowing Zio to do whatever he wants here. Zio even taking the Arcane Passage pretty much onto the healing platform. His Tribe are going to be taking game one. What a dominant performance.
What a dominant performance, and what an upset to the TSM fans here. They are rooting for their team to go to Worlds at the moment, Humanists, and a 1-0 scoreline to Tribe is not what they wanted to have start off this series. But hey, Tribe, they also want to go to Worlds here, and they're not out of the running just yet as well, Humanists. So taking down TSM in this game is a great start for them. They can make it a clean 2-0, then they're going to be looking pretty good going into the finals.
Absolutely, looking real good right now. But let's see. We'll go ahead and throw this over to the analyst desk, break it down, and get us ready for game 2.
Thank you very much, guys. There was a 500 gold lead per minute in the game right there for Tribe. That was an insane performance coming out against Team Solomid, one of the best teams in North America that have been one of the best teams for so long. To destroy a team like that, that's an impressive performance.
It really is, and it's not something that I think we were really expecting. This game looked on paper like it would be very close. We were expecting a hard-fought battle, but this was just Tribe dismantling Team Solomid with this Saw composition.
Yeah, I do think the series will be a lot closer, especially if they take the Saw away from Tribe, but giving it over is a little too risky. Tribe picked it up without the Lyra. They had the opportunity to pick up Lyra if they wanted to, but they went for the Arden instead and still came up blazing with it.
Yeah, it was an incredible performance coming out from them. Our first replay of this game was a double kill that came through for Dienzio right towards the start of the game here on the Saw.
Yeah, and it's the damage that's able to be dished out early on is, thankfully for the side of Tribe, enough to find the kill, because they almost gave it over. Max Green almost being one that went down in this trade, but Dienzio able to provide so much damage and then just able to switch his focus to the objectives. And that was one of the big keys for Tribe to get such a large gold lead, was they would find one kill or most of a kill, and then Dienzio just says, okay, I know T-Tigers and Max Green will be able to finish off that kill. I'm going to start up this next objective and make sure we're in a position where TSM can't contest it.
Yeah, always focusing on the next thing that is required to win the game for them. A couple of minutes later, we saw an ace coming through for Tribe as well. And Zara, I want you to talk me through what happened during this fight.
Exactly. I mean, sure, Munchables, it was an ace that came through. We can see here DNZ are trying to reposition first. So they see Alpha being out of position. They try to engage on her, but Alpha is very tanky. She's very durable. So DNZ waiting on the sideline, waiting for his perfect moment to come in, using suppression fire. The Atlas does go through, so he doesn't block it. Alpha goes down meanwhile, but she has a second life, and she comes back in with that second life. As saw now, the Atlas has run out, so his damage is insane. And the double echo landing onto, or the double echoed gauntlet landing onto the Lyra, locking her down just enough so that Alpha can catch up. And at this point, Saw, like you mentioned, Tasty Bacon, he went to the objective to get the third turret as Alpha and Arden finished the kill on Lyra.
Yeah, and that's an important thing, to be able to coordinate that kind of play across the board like that as a team. And Tribe, certainly experts at pulling those kind of plays off. Our next replay was the last one of the game, basically, as Tribe managed to win out a fight around the Kraken area. And this was an incredibly important fight for the duration of the game. We'll have that replay in a minute's time, but it has to be said, this Saw pick was just so detrimental to the games. We will be able to bring that replay up for you guys and take a look at this fight.
What I want to say about this team fight as well is the fact that Saw did pick up a journey boots very early on in the game. We saw it in our first replay actually. So because of the journey boots, he was able to continuously run in. As you can see, they're using the journey boots once again. That cooldown is only 12 seconds. If you're able to deal damage to your opponents, it resets. And then the Alpha, during this entire time where everyone is trying to focus on the Saw, dishing her own damage out. The Blackfeather going for the Dragon's Eye first item, I really dislike it just because between his on points, his B ability, that stacks do drop, so you don't even have that stacking ability and you don't have any flat damage.
Yeah, and another little thing that happened in that fight that is really easy to miss, and if you aren't looking for it, is Dienzio started attacking the Kraken partway through the fight. And initially, you look at it and be like, why is he even trying to start this Kraken? Because it's not, no one's going to be able to follow up on it. It wasn't to actually start the Kraken. It was just something to keep his spin-up stacks at full so that he could keep attacking and keep that attack speed at the maximum level he could have it, so that when the fight came back over towards him, he was then able to continuously output that damage.
And that's one of the kind of mechanical abilities that really affects it, like, separates the good from the great when it comes to playing Saw and things like that, and also keeping a track of your ammunition on your ultimate. Now we can take a look at the damage done during that game, and I can assure you Dienzio is topping the table after those team fights.
Yeah, topping the table, but everyone else is still very close. I mean, the lowest damage from the carry was 41,000 damage. That's still a very significant number, so you can see that Team Solomid were able to output a lot of damage. They just weren't able to solidify the kills.
They weren't able to output it on the right targets either. So they focused the Alpha. Most of the damage went on her. She went down. She got up with her second reboot ability, second life. Now the Saw is dishing the targets on the target, or dishing the damage on the targets that matter. That's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's start to talk about the next draft in this series, because we've already mentioned the power picks. We've already mentioned things like the Churnwalker. Actually, Tribe, we're going to first ban that Churnwalker. But Saw making it through the first round of bans. Blackfeather's still going to be the pick for Tribe, though.
I don't know if Tribe is going to be too interested in going back to that Saw pick, because it's one of those picks that the first time you bring it out in a series, you can do amazing with it. Unless you're someone like Rogue, you usually only run it once or twice, because now, if Tribe were to have picked it up there, TSM just easily picks up a Celeste and has that hard counter to it. So I think it caught TSM maybe a little bit off guard, and they weren't really ready to draft around a Saw and play around a Saw.
Right, what I'm interested in to see is how or what pick will Tribe go for to get a stronger matchup in the jungle now that TSM has picked up the Alpha. Something to talk about that is definitely important. Last game, Alpha and T-Tigers were able to get huge early game leads by skipping his entire jungle and invading. So very smart rotations to get ahead, since he had the stronger matchup with the Alpha versus the Black for the last game. So now to try and secure him a similar, stronger matchup, I'm interested to see what Tribe will go for versus this Alpha.
All right, so Team Solomid going to be likely grabbing a captain here. It's not often, again, that teams will go for a carry unless there's something that is very high priority that they feel like their opponents would take. Flash X has been playing a lot of the Lyra, a lot of the Grace, and it is going to be the Lyra that comes out for him. So definitely seems to be the #2 captain pick for Team Solomid after the Churnwalker.
I'm loving the captain pick also here, just because you're going up against a Blackfeather, so you want to save your last pick for the carry role, so that you're able to counter the Blackfeather, whether it's going to go to the jungle as a CP or to the lane as weapon power.
We'll have to see what they are going to go for here alongside this Blackfeather. Very versatile pick, fits into just about any composition. But having taken that Rona off the board, they're going to be feeling a little bit safer about the situation. With Rhyme gone as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see them trying to lock in a brawler composition themselves. But the thing is, so many of those picks are already off the table.
One thing that's still open that no one has noticed is the Koshka. Usually teams ban it away from T-Tigers just because they know how strong he is on that hero. So he could pick it up. That will definitely give him a stronger matchup throughout the early game. At the same time, though, the Koshka is a little bit risky, because if she doesn't snowball too hard, she does get outskilled.
And it is an option, but they are going to grab the Batiste. Now, do they finish off with the Catherine and go back to the old Catherine-Batiste combo and try and just shut down Team Solomid that way? It'll be interesting to see, because there are still other power picks available in terms of the captains. You know, Arden is still there. It is going to be the Arden selection, so the Batiste can still do a lot of work in terms of, especially with the double gauntlets, you know, fearing someone into the gauntlet walls can end up with a lot of lockdown as well.
Kestrel is still open, but the more likely pick is going to be the Vox to counter this triple melee composition coming out from Tribe. However, Vox has a short range, and to be able to deal damage to Batiste, you need to get in range for his bad mojos. So it's going to be more on what Best Chuck feels comfortable with to play versus this triple melee that Tribe has went for.
And they're going to need to pick something that they're very confident in, because as we mentioned earlier, if Team Solomid does not win this, you look at the other half of the bracket, and Rogue has a much easier matchup on paper for themselves. So Team Solomid need to get themselves into the finals, very likely, if they want to keep pace with Rogue.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is on the line right now for Team Solomid. They're going to lock in that Kestrel, something we know Best Chuck NA is comfortable on. Best Chuck NA, I think, one of the widest hero pools of the carries in North America. How are we feeling about these compositions? I've got a Batiste coming through here from Tribe. Yeah. Something a little bit less meta, but definitely something we do see fairly often.
And we talked about it. It works against the Alpha because you actually are able to outduel her in the early game because of your empowerment. And then later on with the Ordains and the Fearsome Shade, you can push her away when her ultimate comes out, so you avoid the damage. For me, it's all about how TSM are going to be able to protect this Kestrel, because if they're not able to, if they don't use the portals, they don't use the sustain to keep her alive, Tribe will come through with this game.
We could see that coming on through. Tribe had a tremendous game 1 of this series, and they'll be looking to try and replicate that coming into game 2. It's time to jump on into this one. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you think is going to be taking this series. Can TSM push this to the full 3 games, or is it going to Tribe? It's time to find out as we pass it back to Humanist and Dowsy.
Well, that's right. Game 2 between Tribe and TSM. A huge matchup here. TSM getting wrecked in game 1. Dowsy, can they come back here?
I think they can, but it's going to be a difficult task. This composition from Tribe is very good into what TSM has drafted. It's not usual that we see teams outdrafting TSM in such a way, but I guess you could say that Cloud9 also outdrafted TSM yesterday, and look what happened there. So it's not an impossibility, Humanist, that TSM are out for the running, but you know, the Batiste very good into Alpha, also low-key really good into Kestrel as well. Limits her strength, which is the mobility when in active camo, unless she has a reflex block to escape. And if she does use that reflex block to escape a Ordained, then there's a gauntlet to come down, and probably 2 of them, knowing Max Green and how much he likes Echo.
Oh, eventually, if the game goes that long, there definitely will be 2 gauntlets dropping down. And you got to imagine, I mean, even if Flash picks up his Crucible, that's going to be coming through for the Fearsome Shade. So it's going to be Best Chuck forced to grab that reflex rather early in this game, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how early that is and whether or not there's a lead for Tribe built up because of it. You see a bit of action in the lane as the minion candy goes down by Dienzio. Double melee into double range means that if they can push the wave in as quickly as possible, then they don't have to take too much damage. The Book of Eulogies kind of a little bit less weaker, a little bit more weaker than it used to be, making the melee matchup a little bit more threatening. not so threatening when you have an Iron Guard contract. Max Green can keep Dienzio nice and healthy. Vonsy in the jungle's found T-Tigers.
Yeah, well, who's found who here? Tiggs, he's ready to play some games. Max Green was dropping down with Zio as well. That's Chuck, he starts up on the Elder Treant, and he's actually, no, it's Vonsy that grabs it. Prime Directive off the mark. Max will throw Vanguard onto Zio. Zio right back to lane, and TSM thinking about making an invade here. T-Tigers, kind of like, just playing games. He absolutely juked him out, and he's found Best Chuck here. Best Chuck, you're in a bad place. I think this is going to be a dead Kestrel. And there you go, first blood going to Tribe, looking for more. Vonsy doing a pretty good amount of damage. Where's the healing coming out of Flash? It's on cooldown. That's the infinite reboot. Vonsy's down, 2 kills to Tribe. Very good start.
Really good start for Tribe. We saw how devastating that Ordained is to Kestrel in the early game, and really it's going to continue being that devastating throughout the entirety of this game until reflex blocks are purchased. Not only that, we get to see once more this weapon power alpha into the, weapon power Blackfeather into the alpha, in the fact that the execute damage from Dienzio just does so much when she's rebooting. Has 0 HP. If there's any Heartthrob stacks on top of that, then it's just a ridiculous burst that Dienzio can output, and will make Vonsy's termination protocols have to kill someone, or else he will die, or has a very good chance of dying whilst rebooting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of burst potential coming out of Tribe. And I imagine, though, that they're going to be looking for Kestrel through these fights. But if Vonsy presents himself, they will likely take that tasty little snack. Speaking of Vonsy, he's dipping into the jungle of Tribe once again. He's not going to find anything. And with that, maybe he'll move up in the lane, or he just back over to his side.
The thing about Vonsy... Oh,
well, they're on the best shot! Are you serious? I thought, Zio, you're really gonna go in on that. Oh, big damage coming the way. Best Chuck finding the stun. Flash X finding the damage. Zio jumps forward with the Feint of Heart. It's the on point landing here. Zio, he's pretty durable. Can he find the damage to take down Flash? He's absorbing this damage from the turret. He finds the kill. He'll go down. And right back behind him in the lane, Vonsy trading with T-Tigers. Ordained is down. Vonsy's gonna wait for that to time out. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially at the pace of this game, if he was going to dive, but he's going to hold off on that. Well, there's the Prime Directive in. Vanguard onto T-Tigers. Max Green's here to back him up. Vonsy has that infinite reboot. He'll jump forward. Core charge onto T-Tigers. Right down into the infinite reboot, and it looks like they're... No, he's probably going to reboot here. Best Chuck's move forward. Best Chuck, he can apply a lot of damage. You got to be careful, Tribe. Zio moving forward with the Feint of Heart, has the movement speed on point over the top side, but the Sigil allows Vonsy to get back. I think the Fountain out of Flash, keeping him alive. Bulwarks down, Flash trying to control Tribe. Max Green, though, so incredibly tanky. He didn't even use his healing flash there. Zio, he's in onto Best Chuck. This is Blackfeather just destroying Kestrel. He's so good at it. Chuck turns it around, but a Feint of Heart is going to put Best Chuck into the dirt. These teams back and forth here, Dowsey.
That was like a minute-long fight. I'm surprised that only one person lost their life in it, and out of all people, it was the Kestrel going down. Try and find another kill for themselves, but they need to start turning these kills into advantages. We saw yesterday Cloud9, very good at finding kills, but they didn't do much with their macro play, and if you're not doing anything macro on the board, then you're not winning the game. TSM, when behind, very good at executing off any advantage given to them, so you cannot give them an inch. But currently, Tribe showcasing the strength of their composition. It's always going to be superior to TSM in these straight-up brawls where everyone just goes at each other here, Humanists. So TSM are going to have to find inventive ways to win these team fights. It's really going to rely on great captain play from Flash X and great distraction play from Vonsy. Best Chuck and A is just going to have to kind of sit along for the ride and do his best.
Ooh, on point misses. Chuck right into the active camo right off the bat. T-Tigers has made his way up into the lane. He is level 6, has that ultimate ready to go. Vonsy has his as well, but he's not currently up in the lane. Tribe, they shove that lane forward. They're going to drop down into the jungle as 3. They'll find Vonsy. I don't know if they're going to chase. Ordained is down, but Vonsy rather tanky. That's right next to the Crystal Sentry. Not a great fight. Zio jumps onto Flash. It kind of feels like Tribe want to drop to shop or something, but they're just not allowing TSM to move towards them at all.
Yeah, and that's also the other thing, is that they're not allowing TSM to go to shop either. Not really too much to buy for TSM at this point. 1,000 gold for Best Chuck and A, he'll go Monocle second, but needs to get that reflex block soon, because Max Green is getting towards his gauntlet point. Vonsy Finally finishing that Aftershock means that his power is ready to go, but T-Tiger's finished a very early Shatterglass, and this is because Vonsi prioritized that heavy Prism just to give him a bit of extra bang for his buck. Once that Aftershock was completed, means that T-Tigers and Vonsi very similar in their ability to output damage at the moment. There is now a gauntlet for Max Green. You can see Flash X this time has decided to prioritize a Crucible as his second item. Going to be very useful to get Best Chuck to safety.
Zio, he gets stunned up, but it doesn't even matter. He's locked onto Best Chuck like a heat-seeking missile. Healing Flask and a Vanguard Rose offensive over the top just for style points. Actually, Vonsi rotating up with Prime Directive. The Gauntlet stuns him right on top. What a gauntlet.
Oh, wow.
Fearsome Shade coming through as well. This is Tribe really playing aggressively here.
Nice Fearsome Shade from T-Tigers to actually force Vonsi out of the turret. He is very tanky and has a Lyra next to him. I kind of told you in draft, I was a little bit surprised that TSM didn't pick up the Arden when the Black Feather was locked in. I kind of feel like you need to secure an Arden most of the time when Black Feather is on the opposite team because of his ability to just do so much burst. When you have an Arden, it kind of negates his power. But when the Arden's with the Black Feather, he's almost unkillable. Currently we're seeing that Dienzo can just turret dive Best Chuck and A, who has a healer, giving him heals, providing heal. It just doesn't matter. Dienzio can just jump in and out, has movement speed from the Vanguard, and Best Chuck and A really is lost for words.
This is incredibly entertaining. Zio, one of the most talented players in the world. People talk about his life buff, but I mean, this guy just has another gear that he can shift into, and it feels like he's in top gear right now.
That's because he's recognized that they are getting closer and closer to their goal here, Humanists, of making it to Singapore. Wouldn't that be such an amazing story for Tribe, you know, who at the Summer Unified Live Championships took down TSM in a massive upset back when I believe they were under the Immortals branding.
Right.
And now they have the chance to upset even more. They were to take down TSM in these semi-finals, move to the finals, face up against Rogue, and then take down... Oh, I say Rogue, I assume it's Rogue because it's the matchup. That's perhaps a little bit biased of me.
Just kidding. Zio lands the on point. Bulwarks down, Flash controlling the movement from Tribe. Zio getting lit up. He really wants Best Chuck. Actually, he has so much sustain. Look at this. Zio's going to be able to take down the Kestrel. Now looking for more. Vonsi's low. He still has his ultimate available and ready to go. Tribe, they get right onto the turret here. Not really caring too much about TSM. TSM doing their best to defend. This is the Termination Protocol, but he misses the Prime Directive. Zio right back in. The Vanguard onto the Black Feather, and they take the Alpha down. Flash X next to go. Arcane Passage buying a little bit of time with the Healing Flask as well. Does Zio really want this? His team will take the turret down. He targets it right as it bursts, and Tribe will go ahead and back up out of this one. Tribe, a very strong advantage about 10 minutes in.
Oh, they are so far in the lead, and the momentum that they've been able to carry through from their first game here is just unstoppable. Team Solomid, they're trying their best to weather the storm, but there is just no shelter for them. Now a Clockwork for T-Tigers. This is such an important power spike for the Batiste. Allows him, when he is empowered on his Reap, his heroic perk, to throw 2 bad mojos out, which gives him extra burst damage, and also allows for those Ordains to be up even quicker. That prison that Best Chuck and A is currently having to deal with. Best Chuck, he's going to finish off that monocle, and I have to think that a reflex block is next in line on his build. 0-5 and 1, he's just not had any relief so far. That Crucible is there for Flash X, has to be used to keep Best Chuck alive, and Vonsi really needs to get to a point where he is able to lay down some threat onto Dienzio and keep Best Chuck safe. Trying his best to poke out.
That's TSM applying a little bit of pressure here. Fearsome Shade will come through, disrupting TSM just a touch. Everybody stacking on the T-Tigers, and he has the splash damage to come through. Best Chuck down. Vonsi trying to make some hero plays. Flash wants to back him up, but at the same time, Flash is in danger. Vonsi dropping low. There's the Termination Protocol is going to come out. A little bit of splash damage, but nothing the Tribe are scared of as they find 2 more kills. Continuing to build on the net worth lead, building up their overall stats for BG Pro as well, and Tribe just taking everything.
I just have to praise Hot Sauce's drafting, you know. Today, yesterday, Tribe have just looked so good with the compositions that is being brought into the mix, and I know Hot Sauce has kind of been a bit of a unsung hero ever since the Summer Live Championships. doesn't really get the credit he deserves, but has definitely been able to put Tribe in a position where they just have compositions that favor win conditions that are so easy to connect with and meet, and Tribe have been able to really take value from that. They are looking so good, and Team Solomid don't really have too many options to win their game. Best Chuck and A is getting stuck in the middle of team fights. He's not able to escape here, Humanist, meaning that the major amount of damage, this Kestrel that the Best Chuck is playing, is not really being able to do anything. He's getting taken down so easily by the triple melee, and when you're in melee range of a Batiste, that is not a place you want to be, especially as well, of course, as this Black Feather. He has decided the best defense is offense. Got himself a Minion's Foot and a Infusion. It has to be very impactful, this Infusion. Such a massive gold investment at this stage of the game when you're so far behind. TSM really starting to fall apart in this game.
Really starting to fall apart indeed. You see Best Chuck just slipping away a nice active camo there to be elusive. Fonzie doing his best to clear his jungle. He's made the rotation up though. There's the stun. Fearsome Shade cancels off the aggression. Just when it looked like TSM maybe had an opportunity, Max throws the gauntlet, they can't run through it, and Fearsome Shade makes them run the other way.
And not only that, he has himself the Echo Max Green here, so there's a second gauntlet ready to go. TSM, hope they've seen that on the tab screen, because otherwise that is a nasty surprise, the second gauntlet coming out. Man, look at the lead in CS that Dienzio has over Best Chuck and A. 112 creeps to the 93, a 20 CS lead in the lane. If each CS is worth 40, that is a ridiculous amount of gold that Dienzio has already got over his opponent. Able to just build into so much defense and so much offense on this Black Feather. Best Chuck and A is really far behind.
TSM maybe trying to fight here. Maybe they didn't see that he has the Echo. We could see another gauntlet come down. There you go. Look at, he throws out the reflex, so it's not canceled off at all. A beautiful play. Fearsome Shade blocked out by TSM. Now the chase is on. Max Green dropping low. TSM, I don't know if it's target you want. Best Chuck, they were able to focus him down. The healing comes through. They've traded, taking Best Chuck, traded for Max Green. And now Tribe will chase on to Von C. That is the secondary target here, of course. And ordained down Von C. He's going to go ahead and throw that Prime Directive out, but it'll stay in place. Crystal Sentry doing work here. They're dropping low, but of course Tribe will come through finding the kills and Flash X. Just a matter of time. Style points once again. Fearsome Shade coming through. Zio finding the kill and an ace for Tribe.
You know, it's so easy to kick someone when they're down here, but TSM, Von C's build, a broken myth on this alpha when behind. He really needed to get that Dragon's Eye. Just does so much more work when you're on a 2 crystal power item build with the Aftershock. The Dragon's Eye, it synergizes so well, one with Alpha's kit. She has to be in melee range to do damage, so that means she's continuously stacking up that Dragon's Eye. Through the Broken Myth, it doesn't actually provide too much extra damage. Of course, when the shielding is there and Dienzio has rushed an Aegis, it will pierce through that and provide actually a substantial amount of buff to damage because of that pierce. But Dragon's Eye is just categorically a better second item for Alpha, and so it doesn't help TSM that not only are they behind on gold, but actually the item builds aren't super optimal for their scenario. Best Chuck and A has finished his second monocle. It's a really big portion of damage now available to him. He has that O card in inventory. He will be going towards a reflex block for himself. We'll have to see if TSM can burst someone down. We saw in the last fight, they tried to focus down Max Green of all people. Really didn't work out in favor of them.
They kind of got baited in. It was just like, you see a target dropping low, you're way behind. I guess you're going to try and make the kill happen. Zio frontlining on all three of TSM, just throwing on points down. They land. He's able to trade. Faint of Heart, a little movement speed, but Von C's ready to fight. Max Green, Gauntlet over the wall. Fearsome Shade blocked off, but a second Gauntlet will come down, stunning up Von C here. Best Chuck dropping low. Best is just deleted. In fact, Max Green will take that kill. Termination Protocol. Oh, this is an error happening here as TSM will go down. Another ace for Tribe. And TSM fans starting to hide here in chat.
Yeah, no, it's been the Tribe show here, and unfortunately for Best Chuck and when the Crucible was activated by Flash X to not only get himself out of the Gauntlet, but block up the Fearsome Shade team-wide, an excellent usage of the Crucible, blocking 2 major ultimates. Best Chuck decided to stand his ground inside the Gauntlet, and that just gave Max Green the perfect echo opportunity to lay down an overlap, which meant Best Chuck wasn't moving anywhere. Flash X couldn't save him from that point, and the reflex block for Best Chuck and A still hasn't come through yet, so he wasn't able to escape. This is such good play from Tribe, once more just executing perfectly, and TSM haven't really met expectations against Tribe. Usually their team fighting ability, shot calling in the thick of the moment is second to none, but right now they don't look themselves whatsoever, and Tribe are hungry for points. They are hungry to eliminate the chances of someone else going to Singapore over themselves. It's a tough route for Tribe. It's not an easy one that they have a lot of ground to make up in just a weekend. I guess you could call this a half Humanist, but right now they're doing an excellent job of taking down one of the best teams in North America.
It's all for the viewers. They're doing it for the storyline, Dowsy. Maybe the last fight here, Vaughn sees in. The Fearsome Shade cancels off. He can't pop Termination Protocol, and Best Chuck nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Vaughn C probably goes down as well. Can they take him out? Yeah, a little faint of heart, just execute him down. Tribe, they'll throw